Hello students, I am Loveleen Kaur, Assistant Professor in Khalsa College of Engineering and Technology. Today I am going to discuss a topic that is based on the computer networks. Before going into depth in the computer networks, first of all we will discuss what is data communication. How actually this communication is possible between the two end systems. So this will discuss first, and we will discuss also what are the various components, how the two parties are communicating with each other, how the actual data will transfer from one device to another device on the network. So we will discuss each and every topic one by one. So today we will start from the basic concept, that is data communication. So our first topic is data communication. So what is this data communication? This data communication is the combination of these two words, data and communication. So actually what is this data? Data is the raw facts or raw material, whatever you send on the network, and that will be received by the particular receiver on the network. And what is this communication? So this communication means the two parties are communicating with each other with the help of various protocols. So data communication. So data is whatever you send the actual data, actual message on the network, and communication means how these two parties can communicate with each other. So we will discuss with this diagram. If we have a one sender, suppose this is a one sender and there is another end device that is called as receiver, and these two end devices are connected with the help of medium. So this is one device and this is another one device, and these two devices are connected with the help of this medium. So now what is the definition of data communication? So definition of data communication is the exchange of data between the two end devices via some form of medium. So this medium is also called as transmission medium, and this medium can be of any form. It may be wired or as well as wireless. If we talk about the wired system, that means there is a physical connection between these two devices. So in wired system we have a number of wires like twisted pair cable, coaxial cables, and fiber optic cables are used to connect these two devices. And if we talk about the wireless systems, that means there is no physical connection between the devices. All the information or data will be transferred through the medium using the air. So with the help of various microwaves, radio waves, satellites are used to transmit the data from one end to another end. So the medium can be of any form, wired as well as wireless. So it means the definition states that the exchange of data between the two end devices via some form of medium. So this means this is the definition of data communication. So next we will discuss the types of communication. So we have two types of data communication. Types of data communication. One is local and another one is remote. So local data communication means the data is transmitted within the organization, within the same building or the particular geographical area, or you can say in the particular restricted area. Whatever you send the data, that will be transmitted within the given particular or restricted area. So if we talk about the remote, so remote data communication deals with if the end devices are further apart. So it means this is remote data communication. So we have two type of communication, what we have discussed, local communication and remote communication. So our next topic is the components of data communication. Actually how the data communication is possible and how the various components can connected or communicating with each other, that will be discussed with the help of this diagram. So our next topic is data communication components. So total we have 5 components of data communication. We'll draw our diagram. So if we have a sender, another side we have an end device, that is receiver, and both these parties are connected with this transmission medium, and there is a message, whatever you actually send on the network, and another component is protocols. So same set of protocols, rule 1, rule 2, so up to rule n. Here is same rule 1, rule 2 and rule n. So these are the components of data communication. Total we have 5 components in this diagram, and this diagram depicts first component is the sender, second is the receiver, third is the medium, fourth is the masses, and fifth is the protocols. What is this sender? Sender who sends the data on the network, and what is this receiver? Who receives the data on the network. Sender who sends the data and receiver who receives the data. And this data will be transferred from one point to another point with the help of this transmission medium. So this is the physical link between these two parties. So, and we have already discussed this transmission medium can be of wired as well as wireless. So next is the fourth component is masses. Masses means your actual data, what is transformed from this device to this device. So this is the actual data, actual masses, whatever the sender sends on the network, and it will be received by the receiver. So fifth component is the protocols. Protocols means the set of rules to govern communication between the two parties, between the two devices. So without protocols, two devices can be connected with each other with the help of some medium, but it can't be communicate with each other. So this will be possible with the help of some protocols. Actually, what is protocols? Protocols is just as a software programs, whatever running on the particular machines. So these protocols are the set of rules to govern communication between these two parties. How they will communicate with each other, how they will transform the data from one point to another point, this will be helped with the help of these protocols. So without protocols, two devices can be connected, but it can't be communicate with each other. So this masses will be transformed from here to here with the help of various protocols that are running on the particular machine. So both parties or both the end devices will use the same set of protocols while sending the data on the network. So this whole process shows the components of data communication and how they are communicating and transferring the data from one end to another end. So with the help of these protocols, these two devices can communicate with each other. So these protocols having various different set of functions over there. So we will discuss next what are the various functions of protocols. So protocols have set of functions that performs various operations. So that means functions of protocols. So first protocol function is data sequencing. So what is this data sequencing? So data sequencing actually a method to break the longer message into various number of sub messages, or you can say various number of packets on the network. So if we have a one long message, then it will divide into number of sub messages, and these are also called as packets. And after that we'll put the sequence number of these packets. So with the help of these sequence number or with the help of these numbering, you can easily detect the packets on the network, and you also find out if some of the problem occurs on the network and some of the packets are lost on the network, then it will be very easily identified by the particular machine. This message or this packet is not in the particular message, not available or visible in the particular packet. So with the help of this numbering or with the help of these data sequencings, you can easily identify the loss of packets or the duplicate packets. So our next function is the data routing. So what is this data routing? Data routing term deals with the method to route the packets on the network from source to destination. This will decide the route on the network, which packets will go on the particular route on the network. So this will be done with the help of this data routing. So our next is the error control. So error control. What this word error means? There is a problem in the message. Control means how to control that error. So this error control means there is any problem in the message, it will be very easily find out with the help of the protocols. Then there is an error in the network, and how to correct that error and how to resolve the problem that will be occurred by some external effects. So that will be very easily handled with the help of various error control mechanisms. So our next function of protocol is flow control. So this flow control means how to manage the flow on the network. So what is this flow? Flow means if the sender is sending the data to the receiver at a very high speed, and receiver is not as much as speed to accept the messages whatever the sender is sending. So there will be a flow on the receiver side. So how this will be handled and how this will be solved? So this will be solved with the help of some protocols. So various flow control mechanisms are there to control the flow on the network, and particular how to manage the flow on the network, that will be handled by the particular machine. So various flow control mechanisms are available, and this all will be done with the help of these protocols. And next is security. So security is the main aspect that comes in the network. So before you sending the data on the network, firstly you will ensure that your data is secure. So this will be done with the help of various techniques, that means various encryption and decryption techniques are available. That techniques will help to hide the actual information in some another form, and then that information will be sent on the network, and after this, when the message will be reached at the destination, the receiver will receive that message, and firstly that will be decrypted with the help of this decryption technique, and the receiver will receive the actual message, that is your original message. I'll show the whole process, and this will be done with the help of cryptography technique. So I'll show you the cryptography system, how this security is possible. So what is this cryptography? We have a sender. Here you have a plain text, your actual data, your original data. After that, various encryption algorithms will run, and that will create a ciphertext, and after that this data will go on the particular network. After that at the receiver side you have a decryption algorithms, and at last you will get a plain text, and that will be received by the receiver. So this means we start from here, we have a sender, and plain text means this is your original data. Various encryption algorithms are run, and some keys will also applied on this data, and this will create a one ciphertext, that is another form, and after that this data will be sent on the network, and here again we have a still ciphertext. At the receiver side we have a decryption algorithms out there, and various keys are also applied to open the particular data, and at the last you will get a plain text, and you will get the original data whatever the sender has sent. So this whole process is called as cryptography process, and this is done with the help of various encryption and decryption algorithms. So this is the security aspects, and this will also done with the help of various protocols. So we have discussed various functions of protocols like data sequencing, data routing, error control, flow control, and the security. So next we will discuss the various modes of transmission. So our next topic is the transmission modes. Transmission modes means the direction of flow of data. This means direction of flow of data. That means in which direction your data is going to be transfer from one device to another device. So this means, this tells transmission modes means that is the direction of flow of data. We have three types of transmission modes. First is simplex. Second is half duplex. And third one is full duplex. So simplex means the data will flow in only one directional, and this simplex technique is unidirectional. Half duplex means data will flow in both the directions but not at a time. Next is full duplex, means data flows in both directions simultaneously. So sender who is sending the data, at the same time the receiver will receive the data and it will send back the data to the particular sender. So we will discuss each mode with the help of diagrams. So firstly we will discuss simplex with the help of diagram. So in simplex case, data will flow in only one direction, or you can say it is unidirectional. For example, if we have a machine, there is a keyboard, this is CPU, data flow. After that, data will be displayed on the direction of flow. So in this diagram, data flow direction is unidirectional. Firstly, whatever you enter the data from the keyboard, whatever you press the alphabets from the keyboard, that means this data is entering into the CPU. This will flow into indirect direction, and after processing, your data will be displayed on the monitor screen, and it means this shows the direction of flow of data. So this direction is unidirectional. So it is not possible this screen will send back the data to this keyboard device. So this means this is the case of simplex. Data flows in only one direction, or this simplex case is unidirectional. So next is the half duplex case. Our next transmission mode is half duplex. In this case, data flows in both directions but not at the same time. So this half duplex case is bi-directional but not at the same time. Suppose if we have a sender and this machine A wants to send the data to this machine B, this will send the data. This machine will send the data to device or this machine B, and this will be received by the data, and after that the B device will transmit the data to A device. So this is the case of half duplex, but not at the same time. Firstly, A will send the data to B, then B will receive that data, and after that, using different channel, then this B will transmit the data to A device. So this means both are using the different channels for sending the data to each other. Fine. So it means this half duplex case is bidirectional, but in this case two devices can send the data not at the same time. So this is the case of half duplex. So if we talk about the case of full duplex, so this is also a bidirectional. So in this case, if this A wants to send the data to this B, so this A device will send the data to B device. At the same time, B can send the data to the A device by using the same channel. Simultaneously, they can send or receive the data to each other. So this is the case of full duplex. And the example of this full duplex case is your telephone systems, internet. These are the examples of full duplex case. If we talk about the example of half duplex case, so walkie-talkie is the very good example of half duplex case. In that example, only one person can send the data at the one time, and firstly that receiver will receive the data, and after some time they will send back the data to the particular sender. So that is the case of walkie-talkie, and that will come under the category of half duplex case. And if we talk about the full duplex case, so this is the case where you send or receive the data simultaneously. So in this case, telephone system is a very good example, and internet is also a very good example that comes under the category of full duplex case. So these three are the transmission modes of data communication, what we have discussed: simplex, half duplex and full duplex. So this will tell how to flow the data from one end to another end. That means it tells the direction of flow of data from one end device to another end device. So next we will discuss the line configuration. So our next topic is the line configuration. So what is this line configuration? So line configuration means how to represent the particular network. So how to configure the line? Line means particular link. How to represent that link or network? So this can be helped with the help of these two line configuration techniques. One is point to point, and another is multi point, or is also called as multi draw. So line configuration is the way how to define the particular network and how to represent a particular network, how to configure the network, and this will be helped with the help of these two particular line configuration techniques. One is point to point and another one is multi-point or multi-draw. So first of all we will discuss what is this point to point line configuration. So point to point line configuration means there is a dedicated path between the two parties. Suppose if we have a sender A and another receiver is B. So in between A and B there is a dedicated path. Dedicated path means direct link between these two devices. We have a multiple paths between these two devices, and any one device can transmit the data to follow any path. So point to point configuration means there is a direct link between the two parties. So this link indicates the dedicated path or direct link between these two parties. So this comes under the category of point-to-point line configuration. So next is multi-drop. So multi-drop means more than two devices can communicate with each other. Then we represent that network with the help of multi-point or multi-drop. So if we have a mainframe, and there is a one link, suppose this is device A, this device B and device C, and another one more device, that is T. So this case represents the multi-drop or multi-point configuration. So it means in this case all the devices are using one common link. If this A device wants to transmit the data to this T device, then this A device will send the data, or you can say it uses the broadcast system. So it will broadcast the data on the network. So whatever the data this A device has sent, it will be received by all the devices that are connected with this link. So only that device will receive the data whatever the address matches. Before sending the data on the network, this A device will put the address of this particular device on the header field of the buses. After that, the data will be available on the network and all the devices can receive that data, but only this D device will receive the data because the address matches with this A device. So that's why this D device will receive the data, all devices will discard the data. So this whole process is done with the help of broadcast networks. This multi-drop or multi-point line configuration using the broadcast method. So in this case, various devices are using this common link and all are transferring the data to each other. So in the point-to-point line configuration, there is a physical dedicated path between the two parties whom they want to communicate with each other. In this case, we have a common link and various devices are connected with each other, and if any one device wants to send the data to any other device on the network, they will send the data. All the rest of the devices will receive the data, but only particular device will receive that the address matches. So all rest of the devices will discard the data. So this whole process is called as multi-point line configuration. So line configuration means the way how to deal the how to represent or how to deal with the network. Your network will represent in which form, so that will be done with the help of line configuration system. Whether you are using the network point to point or whether you are using the network multi-point line configuration system. So with this, next we will discuss what is networks. So all these things are the basic concepts of data communication, how the two parties will communicate with each other, how they will transform the data from one end to another end. And now what is this? How we represent our network. So first of all, what is network? So first of all, we will discuss what is network. So network is the collection of various devices that are connected with each other with the help of various. Now what is computer networks? So first of all, we will discuss what is this network. So network is a collection of various devices that are interconnected with each other with the help of some links. So that is called as network. So if we talk about computer network, So this means various computers are connected with each other with the help of some medium that terms deals with the computer networks. So if we represent that network, so what is the actually architecture or model, how we represent our network and how we represent various networks in the networking field in which the various devices can connected or communicating with each other. So on basis of this, first of all we will discuss the particular models or architecture of networks. So basically we have two types of models of computer network. First is peer to peer model, and second is client server model. So in this case, peer-to-peer model, various devices are connected with each other. There is no primary or secondary system over there. Every device will act as a primary and it can also act as a secondary. So there is no master or slave. Every device can act as a master or slave in this network. So every one device have another link on the every device on the network. So this means peer-to-peer model. So next is client server model. There is a primary and secondary machine over there. One primary machine or one secondary machine over there. So means one client and one server over there. One machine will act as a client, another machine will act as a server, and the processing will be done with the help of request and reply based. So I'll show you diagram of peer-to-peer and client server model. With these diagrams we will discuss each part. So first of all we will discuss peer to peer model. So in this we have a number of devices and all devices are connected with each other. Every device has a link with every other device on the network. So this network will represent as a peer-to-peer model. In this case, every device can act as a master or slave and it can transmit the data over the network. So every device can act as a primary or secondary. There is no restrictions over there. So this will represent a peer-to-peer model. So this is very good model. In this case, every device has a link with every other device in the network. So if we see if one node will fail or one computer will fail, so suppose this device wants to transmit the data over this device. So it means they can follow any path and it will reach at the destination. If this computer will fail in between these, this device can follow any other path and it will reach at the destination. So this means there is no problem will occur if one system or one node will failure in this case. But as you see in this diagram, so there is a very complicated structures and we need various number of cables over there. So this will increase the cost. So with this complex structure, it will difficult to manage and the speed will also slow. So that's why this model will be used for small networks. So this model is very suitable for small network and this is not suitable for the large network because of the high cabling requirement. So this is the peer-to-peer model. So next we will discuss the client server model. So next is the client server model. So in this case, we have a one sender and one receiver, and this will act as this machine will act as a client machine, and this machine will act as a server machine. So number of processes are running on the client machine, and this is client process, and various processes are also running on the server machine, and this is called server process, in which firstly client will request to the particular server. After that, the server will respond back to the client. So this figure shows the client server model architecture, so in which we have a one client machine and server machine over there. Now this is the client process, means number of processes are running on the client side and number of processes are running on the server side. So in this case, firstly client will send the request to the particular server, and after accepting the request, the server will respond back to the client, yes, I am ready to accept your data. And this communication is possible with the help of various service primitives. So what is this service primitives? So service primitive means whatever the various functions are running whenever the actual communication takes place between the client and the server. While transferring the data, firstly these two parties will establish the connection between each other. So all this will be done, establishment, this will be done with the help of three phases: connection establishment, data transfer, and then connection release. So connection establishment, data transferring, and connection release, all these are the service primitives of particular networks. So various functions will be run while they will communicate with each other. So firstly the connection will establish, and firstly request will send to the particular server, yes, I want to establish a connection with you. Then server will block itself and it will check, then it will respond back to the client, yes, I am ready to establish a connection with this particular machine. After the confirmation, after the acknowledgement that has been received from the particular server, then the client machine will now send the actual data to the server, and server will receive that data, and after that server respond back to the client with the acknowledgement that I have received your data. Now the data communication is finished or not. Client will, if the communication is finished, then client will send the service primitive data termination. So if the work is not finished, then the process will continue. If the data is finished, data communication is finished, this client machine will send the service primitive to terminate the connection, then the connection will be terminated by the server machine. So these steps, whatever involved in the communication between this client and server machine, and how this is possible, this is possible with the help of this service primitives. So service primitives are the functions, are the steps that will be occur within the communication between these two devices. So various services primitives are there, like listen, command, send, receive, acknowledge, and disconnect. So all these service primitives are used for the communication between these two parties. So these actually are the two basic architectures of the networks, in which how the end devices and how the two parties are communicating in the particular network. So first we have discussed peer-to-peer network, and another we have discussed client-server model. So next we will discuss the various topologies that are used to represent the particular network. So what is topology? So topology means the representation of the network. So how your network looks like? What is the representation of your network? So this is the topology. So topology terms deals with the representation of the particular network, how the nodes are communicating with each other and how that network represents. So we will discuss various network topologies. So we have various network topologies. First of all, we will discuss the term topology. So topology means the representation of the network. So if we have a central device and various other devices are connected with this central device. So this is the representation of the network. So in this network representation, there is a hardware device that is called hub. Hub is a hardware device and it acts as a controller in which all the other devices are connected with this central controller. So these all are the end systems or computers and devices that are connected with this hub. So this hub, it acts as a controller and it will transmit the data to the particular device. Suppose this device wants to send the data to this device. Firstly, this device will send the data to this central controller. Then central controller will pass the data to the receiving device. So in this way, this process will run. And this is actually a representation of network. This is the star representation. This is the one of the type of topologies. So after that we will discuss various types of topologies. So this representation deals with the type of star topology. So this is the representation of network. So topology term refers to the representation of a particular network. How the devices are transferring the data from one device to another device. So this diagram will represent as a star topology. So we have various types of topologies. So our next topic is types of topologies. So we have bus topology, star topology, ring topology, mesh topology, tree topology, and hybrid topology. So we have a number of topologies: bus topology, star topology, ring topology, mesh topology, tree topology, and hybrid topology. We will discuss each and every topology with the help of diagram. So first of all, we will discuss bus topology. So in this topology, we have a sender, and various other devices, and there is one common link, and all these devices are connected with this link. Every device can act as a sender and every device can act as a receiver in this case. So if we have a and terminators. So this is called tap, and this will act as a drop line. So in this diagram depicts these all are the number of devices A, B, C, D, and there is a one common link, and these two are the terminators, cable end terminators, and this is called tap. So tap actually is a connector who connects this drop line with this device. So this device is connected with the main link with the help of this tap connector, and drop line means there is a link or line between the device and the main link, and this is called as main cable. There is only one main cable is used in this case, and all the devices are connected with this main cable, and there is a connector tap who connects the device to the main cable, and drop line is a line who connects this device with this main cable with the help of this tap system, tap connector. In this case, we have a number of devices, and if this device wants to transmit the data to this device, it will also uses the same broadcast network system. In this case, this device will send the data and it will broadcast the data to all the devices that are attached with this main cable, and only that device will receive the data who matches the address. Before sending the message, this sending device will put the destination address in the header field of the message, and after that this message will transform on the network and it will be received by all the devices, but that device will only actually receive that matches the address. Other devices will discard that data. That devices will not accept the data. Only that device will accept the data whose addresses is matches with the particular machine. So in this case, we uses the terminator over here, because if without terminator, the electrical signals will go at the end of the cable and it will bounce back to on the main cable, causes errors, and it will create the errors on the network. If the errors will create, that means it will dump the system and they will create a problem on the network. So that's why terminators are used. So terminators will observe the signals when it reaches at the end of the link. It observes the signals and it will not bounce back to the signal to the particular cable, and it with the help of these terminates, it will not create errors in this network. So the work will be smooth and there will no error problem will occur in the networks. So this bus topology is very suitable, but if the main cable is failed, it means overall all the system will die. So the system will not work. If one device will fail, then it will not affect the whole system. So number of devices, you can attach number of devices in a very limit form. So as much as you load on this main cable, it will decrease the speed and it will decrease the quality of the channel. It will also decrease the quality of the channel as well. So it means in this topology, the devices will be limited. So, and if the main cable will fail, it will affect the overall system. So, if one device will fail, it will not affect the whole system. So, this is the bus topology. Next, we will discuss the ring topology. So, next we have a ring topology. So ring topology means this topology is in the form of a ring. So ring means various devices are connected in this network in the form of a ring. So this diagram depicts these devices, this device A, B, C and D. These devices are connected in the form of a ring, in which every device will act as a repeater. Repeater means it will regenerate the signals. So in this device, in this diagram, each device will act as a repeater. So in this case, firstly this device, suppose, wants to send the data to this particular device T. So it will start from here and send data to here. So this device will act as a repeater. It will regenerate the signals, or it will regenerate the number of bits, and then passes to the next device, and then this process will again done on this device, and this devices then passes the data to this device. So this process will done with the help of this ring device. So ring device is very suitable in the peer-to-peer communication system. In this case, if one device will fail, suppose this device will fail, so it will dump the whole process, because the data is passing through these devices. So if this device will fail, this will dump whole the system. So this diagram represents as a one unidirectional ring. So we are in this network system, we have two types of ring topology. One is the single ring topology and another one is the dual ring topology. Single ring topology, this diagram shows data flows in this direction, and dual means data will flow in opposite direction. By using this dual ring topology, if one ring fails, so the communication process, data transforming process, will automatically shift to the second topology system. So it means your work will not suffer, your communication system will not suffer if you are using a dual ring topology. So this is the case of dual ring topology, or the representation of a ring network. So another topology is the star topology. So next is the case of star topology. Star topology, in this case, we have a central controller device, this hub, and all the other devices are connected to this central device. So this is the representation of a star topology. This central controller hub is a hardware device which controls all the processing of the attached devices, and this acts as a controller in this network who controls the whole process, in which if this device wants to communicate with this device, this will transform the data to this device, and after that this device will forward the data to the particular receiving device. That means whole process will be controlled by this particular device, hardware device hub. So this act as a central controller. This is a very good topology, and normally this topology is used in the client server system, and this topology is a very good representation of a network. In this case, if one of the device will fail, it will not affect the whole network, and if this central controller will fail, then it will collapse the whole entire network. It will dump the entire network. But this is very suitable for the larger network, and this is based on the client server architecture system. So our next topology is the mesh topology. So next topology is the mesh topology. In mesh topology, every device in the network is connected to the every other device in the network. So I'll show you in this diagram. So if we have a number of devices so that are connected with each other, with every other device in the network. So it means there is a connection of every other device to every other device in the network. So this creates a mesh topology in the network. So this will represent as a mesh topology. So this will represent as a peer-to-peer model, what we have already discussed. So this representation is called as mesh topology. In this case, number of cables are used and this creates a very complex structure. In this case, every device is connected to every other device in the network and they can transform the data. Suppose this device wants to transfer the data to this device, this will send the data through this path. If this will fail, it can choose another path and it will reach at the destination, because number of connections are there in this network. So in this case, this creates a very complex structure and it needs number of cables over there. And with the number of cables, with the requirement of number of cables, it will increase the cost of the network. So if the cost will high, then it will create problem. So this topology is suitable for the small networks, what we have already discussed in peer-to-peer system. So this is not suitable for the larger networks. So in this case, if you want to find out the number of cables, number of connections are required, then we use this formula n into n minus 1 by 2. So in this case, this n will represent the number of devices. If you have a 10 number of devices, then you want to find out how many links are there. So you will use this formula 10 minus 2, 90 by 2 and is equivalent to 45. That means 45 links are required to establish a network of n devices. Okay, so if you want to find out, you have a number of devices and you want to find out how many links are required to establish a particular network, then you will use this formula n into minus 1 n minus 1 by 2. So if you have a number of devices n, then 10 minus 1 by 2 and you have 90 by 2, you have total 45 number of links are required to establish a network for the 10n devices, 10 number of devices. So n will represent the number of devices. So this will find this 45 links